So how many of you guys listening and watching this video have struggled with the amount of information that you can find online about nutrition, fitness, lifestyle, that it just becomes so confusing and every single thing that you read seems to be in conflict with the last thing that you read, and it becomes just impossible to discern what's good, what's bad, and which things to stay away from, and some things can get a bit extreme. So if that's you and you have struggled a lot with that kind of paralysis by analysis situation, and it's actually stopped you from doing the things that you want to do, then this video is for you. So I'm going to put it up as a screenshot in a minute, but basically what I've created is a simple resource. It's just a lifestyle and nutrition priorities, like hierarchy basically. And what it's going to do is going to go through all of these sort of bad habits that we tend to have at the moment, the biggest changes that we can make to basically create the biggest change and the most results and biggest health changes for ourselves. And then I'll talk about some of the little things that get fixated upon excessively, which don't actually matter that much in the grand scheme of things. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. I'm just going to put the screenshot up and I'm going to talk over it, so there's not going to be a lot of visuals, but it is going to hopefully help you guys out who struggle with this kind of problem. Okay guys, so here is the sort of the health and lifestyle priorities screenshot that I was talking about. So as you can see at the top, which we'll go through first, we've got all of the habits and factors that are basically contributing to probably 90+% of the health problems that we see at the moment, and just generally making people feel terrible as well. So it's not just about medical conditions and all that sort of thing, it's about people's quality of life and how we can make that better. So we've got things like having 50% of your diet from ultra processed foods. So go for that one first. So but when I mean ultra processed foods, I'm not just talking about anything in packaging, and not everything that is processed is automatically bad. So when I mean ultra processed, I'm talking about things like refined sugars and starches, refined fats, and that type of thing. Basically empty calories that are just calories. They don't do anything else. They've got no nutritional value apart from adding to your energy intake. And these calories are easy to overconsume. You can fill up on them really easily, and you can suddenly be really high in your calorie intake and not even realize it, and most people don't. I've pulled 50% as a figure out of research that I've done on this topic. There are quite a lot of figures that you could use. You might say 30% or 60%, but generally if your ultra-processed food intake looks like this, then this is a habit that you need to change, because this is going to have negative effects on virtually every aspect of your health and nutrition. So things like ketchups are a big culprit for this, mayonnaise in some of its refined forms. If you're putting lots of sugar in coffee, if you're putting table sugar on virtually anything, if you've got sweets, cakes, biscuits, ready meals, tins of baked beans that are in the tomato sauce, these are all just processed, pretty much garbage, guys. These are no good for you. Don't eat it. It's terrible. So if that's you, then you need to deal with that first, I would say. The second thing is alcohol, 2 to 3 times plus per week. So again, alcohol is a massive contributor to health-related problems, medical conditions, liver disease and liver issues, particularly bad for this. Alcohol also contributes a lot of calories to your calorie intake. So if you're a binge drinker, or you drink multiple times a week, every day even, maybe, you can be adding thousands upon thousands of calories to your diet of just alcohol, which again contributes to things like obesity and just to generally making you feel like crap, guys. Okay, so it's not just me talking about medical conditions again. This makes people feel terrible. And ask anyone who does this and they'll tell you the same thing, that they feel awful when they do this. It's not good for anybody, and it's not good for your longevity and, like I said, your health. So if that's you and you're in that box at the top and you do that, or you do both of those two things, processed foods and alcohol, then we need to look at changing that. Now, we've got other things here. We've got sedentary lifestyle, and we have poor sleep, poor hydration. Now, sedentary lifestyle is, again, a massive contributor to things like breakdown in your physical capacity. So I won't go too much into fitness here in this video, but if you can't do a basic squat with your own body weight, or if you can't push yourself up once, you know, if you can't walk up the stairs without getting out of breath, this is a really big problem. And this is a really common problem, but it's a really big problem. We don't want this, because this, combined with all the other habits in this box here at the top, will contribute massively towards your deteriorating health over the years. And it might not happen immediately, but it will happen. And obviously, if you're sedentary, you're not burning off as much energy, so it's significantly easier to overeat and put weight on. So you can see how these things contribute to one another. So it's not just one of these things in isolation. People usually have one or more of these things. Now, poor sleep is a problem. If you get less than sort of 6 hours a night of sleep, you should be getting between 7 and 9, really. You can have imbalances in your mental health. You don't grow and repair properly. It can throw out your hormone balance. You can become much more stressed, and it can raise cortisol levels. These are all sorts of things that we don't really want. Sometimes it can't be helped, but in other cases, you know, there's things that we can do to increase sleep quality. So that's something we need to look at. Now, hydration, this is a big thing. Honestly, guys, everyone should be drinking 2 litres of water a day. And if you're not doing that, you're leaving your health gains on the table. Water is probably the thing that you need the most of every day. You can survive weeks without food, but you can only survive a couple of days without water. So just drink water, carry a bottle with you, and count how many times a day you empty the bottle, and aim for 2 litres. And if you're training, you need more than that, obviously. So what I'm going to say, basically, guys, if more than one of these habits and things in this top box is you, then you need to focus on the middle box, which is basically a lot of habits that you can start to build, which will build most of your health and contribute heavily towards your longevity and your quality of life into the future. So in the middle box, we have all the basic things, matching calories to your goal. So if your goal is to gain weight, lose weight, maintain weight, obviously a lot of you guys who have the habits in the top box, your goal will probably be to lose weight, so that's fine, but learn how to do that. Remember, guys, energy balance is king. So you'll see a lot of people saying it doesn't matter how many calories you consume, you know, or I don't eat very many calories but I still gain weight. Guys, that's not true. Most people are really terrible at tracking how many calories they do and don't eat, which is why I always recommend people to do a food diary. Count how many calories you eat roughly, because if you don't, I guarantee you, if you're gaining weight and you think you're not eating many calories, then that assertion is incorrect. That is just a law of physiology, guys. That's not knocking anybody. That's a law of physiology that you cannot get around. You cannot put weight on if you're not consuming the energy to do so. You don't put body fat on from thin air. It does not work like that. Every physiological process requires energy, and putting fat on your body is a physiological process that requires an energy surplus. So we've got other things here like cardiovascular and resistance training targets. These are going to be individual. So you might say, I want to go for a walk 4 times a week. I want to go to the gym and do weights, twice a week, 3 times a week. That's fine. The biggest thing here is consistency, as with all of these habits. So if you can consistently build up to doing that and make that a part of your life and an automatic thing, then that's fantastic. You don't have to go from 1 to 100 on any of these, but it's just about making a little change every week or every couple of weeks that builds up towards a great big change in a year's time, for example. So we've got things like high protein, getting protein intake correct. So this is fantastic for your overall health. You need protein, and protein keeps us full. So the reason why I put it on here is because protein keeps you full for longer, and it can help to mitigate problems with appetite. It can suppress your appetite slightly, and so if you're someone who struggles really with hunger pangs and you get really hungry, you got a massive appetite, and it's a little bit uncontrollable for you, you struggle with that, a high protein diet is the way to go here, because this can not remove it entirely, but it will prevent you from getting overly hungry at stupid o'clock in the morning, or if you've done a shift or you're a shift worker or you've got irregular hours, that can make you hungry. So a high protein diet is excellent for this, and it's also harder for your body to break down protein, so it does nudge your energy deficit a little bit, so that can help you with losing weight as well. Fruit and vegetables, so I've put this on here for the simple fact that fruit and vegetables are massively nutritious. There's a lot of recommendations for fruit and vegetables, 5 a day. If you eat a lot of vegetables, if you eat vegetables with most meals, then you probably don't need to worry about this. Just add some variety in. Again, this will keep you full, and it will fill you up full of micronutrients and all that good stuff, fiber. So having enough fruit and vegetables is absolutely key in order to keep you healthy and stop you from eating rubbish, to be honest. So what will happen is, as you progress, and it will be a spectrum, as you progress from the first box to the second box, you will find out that your health changes slowly. You lose weight, you feel better, you move better when you're doing your fitness. And then, you might have a more whole foods diet. So I didn't put that in the list in the middle box. But a whole foods diet is basically, anything that grows: rice, beans, peas, sweet potatoes, normal potatoes, animals, fish, chicken, beef, whatever you want. If vegetables, obviously, and fruit. If this is what makes up like 90% of your diet, you're going to be good, because then you're not eating 50% of your diet of ultra processed foods, and it's a huge change. So, lastly, look at the bottom box. Now, the bottom box is unfortunately the things that people fixate on the most, and it's always confused me, because if you are in the top box and you eat chips, burgers, fries, bloody cakes, biscuits, chocolate every day, you go to the pizza shop and you're having McDonald's, and you're stopping off at in the garage and having a sausage roll and a samosa, and you're drinking full fat, full sugar Cokes and energy drinks, then it doesn't really matter whether you eat normal potatoes or sweet potatoes, or whether you eat brown rice or white rice, or what time of day you take your supplements, or how many meals a day you should have. If you're in the red box at the top, these things are just not important to you at all. They make no difference. What they are is very simple little things that can lure us into a false sense of security. So if you're stuffing your face all week, and then you say, oh, but I've had brown rice with my meal today, so I'm healthy, and that's what a lot of people do. Or well, I don't eat normal potatoes because potatoes make people fat, so I eat sweet potatoes. And you do that for one meal, and you say, see, I'm healthy, and then the next day you're back. You've spent so long in the fridge that you got a big red nose. So there's no point focusing on the bottom box until you're completely out of the red box. Now, if you're in the middle box and you've nailed all those habits, and you want to pick on which type of rice to eat, or which potato to eat, or which supplements to take, then that's absolutely fine, because that is the next stage, and it makes it makes the most sense, because you've completed one set of tasks, you've mastered all these habits. Now you want to optimize everything, and that is absolutely fine. But don't do it if you're still in the red box at the top, guys. It's not going to be worth it for you, and it's going to just leave you into a road of self-deception where you think you're going to be healthy, but you're not. And the biggest loser in that situation is going to be the person doing it. So, which is the most sad thing about that. Okay, guys, I've waffled on enough. Basically, if you are in the top box and more than one of the things in the top box applies to you, the bottom box, just forget about it. Do the middle box. Get those things sorted. Remember, It can take time. Be kind to yourself. Do it over a long period of time. Make habits work. Habits take weeks, months, and sometimes years to form, depending on how big the habit is. So take your time, get into the middle box, get out of the red box, and once you're in the middle box, then you can start worrying about the little things. So thank you for listening, guys. I hope that's helpful to you. I've tried to just put everything into a simpler format so people can understand. Whatever diet or method or philosophy you choose to use with your lifestyle to get into this, to get into an improved situation, that is up to you. I'll do more breakdowns on those in other videos, but I'm just trying to give people a direction to travel in rather than confusing people. Okay, guys, thank you for listening. Comment, like, subscribe, share, let me know what you think. Thank you, guys.